100. And then we multiply the miles by this and assign the answer to the variable called kilometers. So we have two variables here, miles and kilometers. And then lastly, we have to display the value in kilometers. So this is the code that I'm going to write. This is the step 1 where I'm asked to use a variable named miles and assign a value 100 to it. Okay, this equality signs mean assignment operator. So whatever the value of here is going to be assigned to the miles. Okay, and in the step 2 I have to multiply the miles with this. So I multiply, this is a symbol for multiplication, so I have multiplied a miles with 1.609. This step is step 2. And then lastly, I have to display the value of a variable kilometers. I just say print in the brackets, I say kilometers. So this is the very basic code that we are going to write today. Is there any confusion in this code? Is there any question in this code? If there is no question, then I will start writing the code on the Python. Okay. So now let me open the Python. So we'll open the Python idle. Okay. Can you all see the screen? So you'll get this screen, okay, with this prompt. So you can write the code here, or you can write the code in the file. So let's first write the code on this shell. Okay. So the first line is that we have to assign the miles to be 100, and then we have to define a new variable called kilometers is equal to miles multiplied by 1.609. Okay, then I say print, bracket open, kilometer, then bracket close, and that is my answer. Okay, so that is the first code that we have written in the Python. Any question in this? Guys, any question? Okay, now we can also write this code in the, if I close this thing, and if I open it again, my computer is a bit slow today. So the code is gone, we have lost the code. So the right way of doing it is that we open a file, go to file and new file. Okay, so we have this file now, and we write the code here in the file and not on the console. Okay, and to save the file, we go to file, save. Save the file anywhere you like. Let's say I save the file by first. The name of the file is first. I press enter. So look at this. File name is first.py. .py is the extension for Python scripts. So you go to the run, and then you say run module. So when you press run module, look at this answer here. Okay, it shows the answer on the console. This is called console. This is console. Okay, and this is called a file to write code. Sometimes we call these codes as, these codes are called scripts. Okay. Question in this? So now we can save this file by pressing Ctrl S or save. And if you close the file, we can open the file again by open and going to the destination where the file is saved. Okay, the file is there. So everybody knows the difference between the script and the console. So there are two things, console, and then is a file, is something called script. Okay, any questions so far? No question? Okay, then let me ask a question from you guys. Adil Fauzi, can you turn on your microphone? Adil Fauzi, can you turn on your microphone? We are waiting for the Adil Fauzi to turn on his microphone. Yes, Adil Fauzi, can you turn on a microphone? Okay, let me be very clear on this thing. If I ask a question and you are not present in the class, then I will give you -2 marks. Simple as that, rather -10 marks. So you better be present in the class when I ask you a question. You may not have to answer the question if you don't know it, but at least tell me if you are here or not. I'm going to ask you last time, Adil, are you here? And I need to know. Okay, I'm going to give you -10 marks. Adil, the friends who are here, they can tell him that he needs to be here, and don't tell me you don't have a microphone, you can type. Everybody needs to have a microphone, I'm telling you. What about Saeed Khalid? Saeed Khalid, can you, I have a question for you. Can you turn on a microphone? Saeed Khalid. Yes, Saeed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I have a question for you. Like, if I miss this S from here, what will happen?
Not
if
print.
I don't write it.
Not print.
Yes. This will give you, yes, this will not print, and this will give you errors.
Yes.
Because the variable name is, this is a variable name. We call this variable.
You should same name.
Yes, perfect. That's right. Okay, so now let's go to the next assignment, next question, next code. and see what we have here. So this is my next code. This is a very interesting code, and we'll spend about 10-20 minutes on it. So the code is that we need to read input from console. Like we'll have the console and the user will enter the value on the console, and then we do some operation and then we print the value on the console. The question is this is the question, this is the task that we have to do. We need to write a code that takes 3 numbers from the user on console and then print out the average. So if a user enters 5, 4, and 1, the console should add them. The program should add them and divide by 3 and gives the answer of 8, 9, 9 by 3, no, sorry, 10 by 3, which is 3.3333. So we are expecting the console to take these values and print these values. Everybody understands the problem here that we are trying to solve? So you will write a program, you will write a script which takes input from console. Console is what? It is this thing, this window. And then it outputs average to console. Okay? Everybody clear about this question? Everybody clear about this question that I'm trying to solve? Okay, so let me show you the code first, and then I will write the code on the script. So this is a code here, okay? Now there are many things in this code. So let's forget about this, okay? Okay, by the way, this symbol means comment, like this line, this line, this line, this line, this line, all these lines will not a part of it. They are not going to be executed by the Python. When the Python sees this symbol, it ignores everything. Okay, so all these lines are comments. What are the comments? They are just to help the reader when he opens the file again, he should know what this code is all about. So the comments are there to help you in understanding what the code is about. The code actually is only in this part. If I use a green color, this is the code. Oh, sorry. Let me use a green color here. So this is the code, this is a code, and this is a code. So there are 3 pieces of code here, 1, 2, and 3. The rest is all comments. So you understand the benefits of comments in a program? Yes, you can delete this. You don't have to write this thing, and the program will still work. The program will still work, If you remove this thing, the program will still work. But, when you open the program after, let's say, 1 month, you may not remember what the things are. So it's always good to put comments. So when you open the program after a long time, after some time, you know what it is about. Okay, I'm gonna say it one last time that everybody needs to be on the laptop with the Python on and microphone working. From next class onwards, if I found anyone not responding on the microphone on their laptop with the Python running, then he will get minus 10 marks straight away in the class participation. Not even 0, minus 10. I'm saying about that. And I mean it, So anyways, so do all guys understand the concept of comments? What comment means? What are the benefits of comments? So comments, let me repeat, comments are not going to be executed, They are just there, so after some time, and if you open the file again, that what is this file about? Okay. So anyways, let's remove all these lines and try to understand what this code is about. So the code is that we need to write a code that takes 3 numbers from the user on console. That's thing. And that task is done in this part. So we have defined 3 variables. These are the variables, num1, num2, num3. They are the variables. Okay. Now forget about this at the moment. So what it's saying that this function input, when you run this function input, it displays this text on the console. We'll see this display text displayed on console, and then this function input expect us to enter something, and when we enter something, that thing gets into this number. Okay, so let me do it on the program here. Let me open a program here. So let me open a file first. So let's say we have a num1, and I say input, enter a number. Okay, when I press F5 or run from here, look at this, what happens. Look at this, it says on the console whatever is written here inside these parentheses. Can you all see it? Can you all see and understand? So when I run this program, whatever text is written inside those parentheses is displayed on the console. And now look at this blinking, it is expecting something. So let me enter number 2.3. And when I press enter, now we are back on the console. These 3 symbol mean that we are back on the console. And now if I press num1, look at this number. The variable has got a value whatever we have entered. What was num1? Num1 was this. So then whatever the value we assigned on the console is now assigned to this variable num1. So take some time and try to understand what this input command means. Okay, let me do another example. Let me say name, input. Kindly enter your name. Kindly enter your name. Okay. Now, if I press, let me put num2 here now. If I press F5 or run from module this, I will get myself on the console. Now look at this console. Enter the number. So let me enter number 5. And when I press enter, now it is expecting the next, the next input. Enter your name. So let me write my name Ali, let's say. That's it. Now if I say print name, I will see Ali. When I say print num2, I'll see 5. And when I say print num1, I'll see, oh, it's gone because there's no num1 here now. So take some time and try to understand what I'm trying to say here. And if you have any question, anything that that is bothering you, you can ask me now. So is this clear what this input does? Okay. So now let's get back to code. So we have now the task. This is the comment. What this part doing? This is going to prompt the user to enter 3 numbers. So we have first enter the number 1. What we will enter is saved in num1 variable, and then we'll have another display. Enter a number 2. When we enter a number, that is saved in the variable num2, and then we have the third sentence which says enter a number 3, which is saved in a variable num3. Okay. Now there's a problem here. The problem here is, you may not understand it much now at the moment because we haven't talked about something called data types. We'll talk about it in the next lectures, but let me tell you something. There are something called integers, there is something called float, and there's something called string. Integer is like 0, 1, 2, -3, 10,000, and so on and so forth. Float is what? This is float, 3.135. A number with a decimal means float. Okay, and what is string? String is just like a text. Okay, so do you understand? I'm not spending much time in explaining data type at the moment. I'm just giving the summary of it. So we have integers, we have float, we have strings. Okay, string is nothing but text. String is a text. Okay, and text is just like in English. Okay. Yeah, so we have something called data types. We'll talk more about it in the following lectures, but just for today, I'll tell you that the data types are majorly of 3 types. The one is int. Int stands for integer. Another type of data type is float, F-L-O-A-T, and third type of data type is string, S-T-R-I-N-G. So what do I mean by the integer data type? When I say integer, I'll have something like 0, 1, -3, -4,000, or anything like that. But if I have something like 30.352, we have a decimal here. Therefore, this is a float. This is a float data type. And for string, we have just an English or any Arabic or any language. So the word, let's say, Ali is string, Sarmad is string, even 325 Sarmad is also a string. Okay. Now, let's just not talk about how many types are there. Let's just say, we are just trying to do this code here. So I'm not giving you any extra information. I'm just trying to give you the information which is just enough to write this code. Okay. Yes, that's the question. That's the problem. Now let me come back to this. Why I'm telling you all this stuff? The problem is when you enter anything on the console with the input command, it is always saved as a string. Now let me show you on the program here. Look at this. So remember we had what? We had name, and we had num2. Remember that? We had 2 variables, name and num2. Now let's see the type of name. The data type of name is string. Look at this, string. And the data type of num2, it should be integer, but it is also a string. Why? Because look at this. Why is it a string? Because we are input whatever is entered from console into a variable from an input command, it is always saved as a string. Yeah, because this is how the program works, whatever we input using the input command, it is always saved in a variable as a string. This is how the language is designed. We have no control over it. Okay. So what we do is, but we know that this num2 is not a string. It is an integer. It should be an integer. So what we do is we put this word here, eval, in the brackets. We put the eval around this. So we put the eval around this. Yes. Now if I run the program, now look at this. Enter the number. So let's enter number 5. Enter your name. Let's say my name is Sarmad. Now let's see. The value for num2 is 5 and the value for name is Sarmad. Now let's the type of it. Type of name is string and type of num2 is going to be integer now. Look at this. Yes, whenever you have the numbers, whenever you want to convert the string into the numbers, you use eval. By the way, let me do one more time. Let me make it more interesting. Enter the number. Let's enter number negative. Let's enter a number, let's say negative 3.56 and the name as Ali. Let's see that. So we have a num2 which is minus 3.956 and the name which is Ali. So let's see the type of name. The data type for name is string and the data type for num2 is, guess what? Float now, because we have a decimal here. So the eval, what eval does is it converts a string into either integer or a float, depending upon the number. Okay, so take about 30 seconds, try to absorb it, and then if there's any question you can ask me. So take about a few minutes, take about 30 seconds and see if you have any question. Any questions that you may have? No. So let's go back to the code. So that is the reason we have this eval here. Okay, everybody happy with this? So that's the first part. Write a code that takes 3 numbers from a user on console. That is done. Now what? We need to print out the average. So now we are computing the average. Look at this. We are adding the numbers. Then you're putting the parentheses because you want to add first and then divide by 3. And the answer in the variable average. Okay? And so answer is saved in the variable average. And then we just say print the average of num1, num2, num3 is average. So this is a text. So whatever is written without these inverted commas will take a value from here and put it there. Take a value from here and put it there. Because if we haven't used these inverted commas around it, and take the value from here and put it here. So let me open the code and see. Let's see. It's 2.2, I think. Yes, this is the code. So let me press F5. See, so let me go a bit, clean the screen, and let me put it a bit up so you can see both things. So you can see everything now. So now if I go here and press F5, look at this, enter the number 1. So this line is being executed now. Input, enter the number 1. And when I enter a number, it will convert this, it will be entered as a string, but this eval will convert the string into either integer or a float depending upon the number. So let's add 5. Let's enter 5 here. Now we have second line of a code being executed, which is num2. Enter the number 2. Let's add 6. And third number, let's add, I don't know, 1. What will happen now? Look at this. The average of the 3 number is 4. The average of 3 number is average. So whatever the average is, the value here is going to be put here. Okay? So this last line comes from here. So think about it and see if there's any question. Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum, doctor.
Wa alaikum salam.
Doctor, for instance, if we put an integer instead of eval, and then
you mean this?
yes, and then try to put put in a number, input a number with a decimal, will there be an error?
Well, the first thing is, I think, let's see, I think that this will give an error, yes.
That's what I want to know. Thank you.
So yeah, so what eval is doing, it is giving us a safe exit, The user can enter a decimal number or simple an integer. It will take care of both of them.
Number, no matter what.
Yeah, yes. Good question, by the way. So, whenever you have a question, just write out. So let me write it in a bit nice way. So average of, let's write it in a nice way, of num1, num2, num3 is, that's far nice way of writing it out. So now this line will be different this time around. So let's see. I have run the code. Let me add that 5, 2.5. and 1.3. The average of 5, 2.5, and 1.3 is this. And this is very interesting, So you need to understand here that these values, num1, num2, num3, are going to be taken from here, and this and they're all going to be printed out. Because if you simply say, if you simply say num1 print, by the way, what will happen? If I say num print of num1, what will be printed out? Well, let's see. We'll again ask for 3 numbers, 5. We'll again ask for 3 numbers. So let's say -9, 3, and 1. So it prints out -9. Okay, clear? By the way, what was the name of the guy who asked this question? Can you message me on the... my computer is really slow. So the guy who asked the question is Abdullah Umar. No, who asked the question? Talal or Abdullah Umar? Suhaib. Okay, Suhaib asked it. Okay, so yes, so that is it. So any questions from this? Now I'm gonna be quick now because these things are not very difficult. Sometimes you're writing a code and the code does not fit in one line. Like you have to write a code and the code does not fit in one line. And what you do is you use something called line continuing statement, which is this symbol. So as an example, look at this. So we have a code here where we are adding 5 numbers, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 6. So I break a line, and that means whatever is going to follow is going to be a part of this line. So you can put a plus here, I can put a plus here, it's your choice. Okay, so this is a line continuing statement. Okay, because you will find yourself when you're writing the code that the line does not fit in, the code does not fit in one line. So you use this symbol to represent that there's a line break, but this is all treated as one line. Okay, so now we have something, very simple things. The same code, the same old code, we have something called identifiers. Identifiers are the names of the elements such as variables and a function. So we have this is a variable, this is a variable, this is a variable, and this is a variable. So these things are all variables, and these are the functions. This is also a function. Okay. So the names of the variable is num1, num2, num3, and average. And the name of the functions are eval, input, and print. So together we call them identifiers. So identifier are nothing but the names of the variable and the functions. Okay, is this clear? So now there are some rules for identifiers. The rules are the identifier is a sequence of characters consisting only of letters, digits, and underscores. You cannot use this, you cannot use this, you cannot use this, you cannot use this or this in your identifiers. That is wrong. This will give you an error. Number 2, the identifier must start with a letter. So your identifier can be S2, but it cannot be 2S. Like you have num1, but you cannot have 1 num. This will give an error. Okay? Or you cannot, so you can have an identifier can start with a letter or underscore. So we can have an identifier like this as well. This is fine, perfectly fine. But this is wrong. This is fine. Okay? And thirdly, the identifier cannot be a keyword. What is keyword? Keywords are the reserved words. Let me give you an example here. Let's take an example here, okay? Let's say I don't use num1. I use eval as a identifier. So I'm using eval as a variable here. And I know the eval is already a predefined function. It's already a keyword defined in Python. If I press F5, I should expect an error here. Huh? What? Yes. Well, alhamdulillah. No, there's a problem here, num2, yes. Yes, so we have an error here, okay? So you cannot use a keyword as an identifier. Twice, TWIE, what is twice? Okay, I need 5 more minutes because we have all talked about this, but I just need to go through them in a minute. So let me close by completing this. So identifier can be of any length, okay? So now help me out. Is this a right identifier or not? Yes. What about this? Is this a right identifier or not? Can we have A plus B and say as an identifier? No. Yes, this is wrong. What about this? No. Yes. What about this? Can we have if as an identifier? No, because this is already a predefined function. We haven't talked about if, but if is also already a predefined function in Python. It's a keyword. And last thing for today is variables. Variables going on here, guys? Okay. Variables. This is the same old code. What are the variables? These are the variables, So variables are used to reference value that may be changed in the program. So these are the reference to the values. So, variables are the name that reference values stored in memory. They're called variables because we may have different values after some time, okay? num1, num2, num3, and every other variables. And last thing for tonight, Python is case sensitive. So num1 is different, and capital M and num1 with capital N is different. They are different things, okay? So Python is a case sensitive language. So that is all for today. We'll talk about the next remaining slides in the next lecture. I think how much left? Oh my goodness, there's a lot of things left. So assignment 2, you can solve it now. So this assignment is, you can do the assignment 2 from today's lecture. Any questions? So read about this question, assignment 2, and I think you should be able to solve it. And you need to submit the Python script, not the PDF file. I'm expecting .py file. And remember, the file name should be your student ID. So if your ID is 2350, then the file name should be 2350.py. And then you press, sorry, the file name should be like this, A2_2350. This is not, no. This is not right. A2 means assignment 2. This is your student number .py. And you have to follow this in every assignment. So in assignment number 3, you will say A3_2350.py. And if there are 2 questions, then you say A3A, A3B_2350.py. Okay? Don't submit me the Word file. Don't submit me the PDF file. I will not open those files, and I will give you 0 marks. I'm expecting the file, the .py file in the following format. The file name should be like this. Okay? Any question? Okay, then thank you very much and have a nice day. Assalamu alaikum.